Alright. So, no webcam today because it's been hot as all balls. And I can't be asked putting up with that today with the green screen and the lights and shit. So yeah. Now, since last stream that we did Final Fantasy, a few things have happened. First things first, we've got 2 reputation ups to do, which we'll be doing. I also, as you may notice, got my Summoner and Scholar up to level 90, and I also got my Monk up to 80. So basically, all of the Realm Reborn classes and all of the healers are up to level 80 at least. So I now need to work on getting Dancer and Gunbreaker up to 80, hopefully. So that we can use those for Shadowbringers. I'm not as worried about leveling like Red Mage, Reaper, and Machinist right now, because I'm hoping that we will get Shadow DC unlocked so that I can use the Road to 90 buff for if we transfer over to there. You may also notice new glam. I've been farming the Rathalos Extreme in order to get glam pieces and eventually the mount. So this chest piece is the male Rathalos chest piece, because the female one sucks. Female one looks terrible. Because it was back when they still had gendered armor sets. I need 50 Rathalos scale pluses, and you get 1 per clear. So yeah, that's gonna take me a little minute. I also got, from doing that, not those. This guy, Poogie. Oh, I did get a new mount as well from Neff was very kind and got me the King Porksy mount from the current crossover with a like Chinese boba place. Because normally you wouldn't get a mount that looks like that until you've done Shadowbringers Society quests. I also I got the Zoo mount. I don't think I had this already. I think I just bought this one, to be honest. It was cheap. Relatively cheap. And then I got the Oppressor mount from our PvP stuff, which I've not really done any PvP the last few days since getting this, because I have been freed from PvP for a little bit, which is kinda nice. And I'm still working on Anima Relics. We've just got Dragoon and Monk left, and both are at the stage where I need to buy the items from Mordona, and I'm literally just waiting to get enough Tombstones of Poetics to finish those off. So yeah, bunch of stuff been going on. We are going to start today by ranking up with the Namazu and the Ananta. Then I'm going to go and do the story that we can do in Eureka Pagos. And there is a very deliberate reason why we're going to go and do that. And then if we, depending on how time's looking after that, we might do a set of job quests. Though I'm not sure what job to do at the moment. It might be Summoner. It might be Summoner, because I think the level 70, yeah, is Summon Bahamut, which once I get that, I'll also unlock immediately Summon Phoenix, because we're already a higher level. So it'll probably be summoner. After! Once more, I would consult you on festival matters. Issues of dire import. Stay right there. Haggath? The parade was most wonderful. Most delightful. So fun it was almost scary, yes. I paraded with such enthusiasm that I eventually lost all sense of time, all awareness of night and day. And when I came to, I was unconscious. I don't think that's how that works. No. Just imagine my shock when I saw my greatest grandsire before me once again. That is when I realized that I was asleep, dreaming. And now we must endure several sentences worth of warnings regarding the inevitable annihilation of the Namazu, correct? Entirely lacking in plot development. Each iteration of the story is not different from the last. Were this a work of fiction, I'd hurl it into the nearest river. However, never shall it be claimed that Suigetsu the Enlightened lacks foresight. Having observed these events repeat themselves once, I naturally prepared for another instance. Now, festivals are culture made manifest, and as posited in The Rise and Fall of Civilization Volume 6, culture spreads. Cultural knowledge is disseminated via migration and commerce, and that knowledge takes root as new elements in foreign cultures. I see you move to interject, Gyoshin. Close your gaping maw for a few more moments, and yes, I shall condense my conclusion to 3 sentences or fewer. Our forebears' festival took place here many hundreds of years ago. Contemporary nomads doubtless witnessed said event. They must have incorporated knowledge of it into their own cultures. Go forth, Gyoshin! Pay visit to the Zala and learn what traditions they keep, and you may well return with a wealth of ideas as to what our festival lacks. Is it me, or is his enthusiasm a bit much? Anyway, I'd very much like to call upon the Zala, but there is the issue of being skewered, being steamed in a breeze, though considerably less so if you accompany me. Yes. Let us start with someone. I didn't read it. I thought it was the same line because I had to ban a viewer bot. My apologies. I can guess what it said. Let's start with the mole as they are least likely to skewer us, or something to that effect. I need to remember to put more energy drinks in the fridge after this. Yeah, Mom. Catfish breeze. Nearly tasted. Oh, after. What can I do for you? Is that so? I'd be glad to speak with you about our festival traditions, if you believe such knowledge might be of use to you. In our tribe, children of a certain age participate in a ceremonial race through the grasslands on horseback. For nomadic people such as ourselves, horses are not only vital to our mobility and livelihood, they are like family. We tend to these dear companions with the utmost care. The speed of these horses and the skill of the mole children who guide them, these are what we offer the gods. How we show our gratitude for the richness of the land we are so blessed to live upon. I would never have expected a festival to take the form of a horse race. No, no. But it's most intriguing. Thank you for your insight. You're also acquainted with the Oranir, yes, yes? To the Dawn Throne. Well, for that one, I'ma do this. Yeah. Just to double check, I don't have any... No, I've done all of my custom deliveries. Yeah. Come to pay me your respects, have you? Hope you're not so foolish as to have brought that bloated creature as a gift. You believe that I can be of service to you? I suppose I can spare a few moments to enlighten you, though I do not expect you to comprehend the splendor and significance of Oranir tradition. The Oranir's most sacred custom is a tournament in which we determine who amongst us is the most and least worthy to lead. It is a contest which pits brother against brother in the traditional art of Azim Bok. In this way, we demonstrate our strength to the tribe and to Father Azim. Were the opportunity to arise, Hagen, I expect you would conduct yourself well in the tournament. The malformed fishman, however, should be put flat on his back in the space of a breath. Why, I never! That sort of conduct will win you no friends. Not bring you any luck with the ladies. No, no. Still, I suppose you did divulge a tradition of some interest, so I'm grateful to you. A little. Not really. I'd like to speak with the Dothal before we return. It goes without saying that you must be there to prevent any untoward consumption of my flesh. Yes, yes. Look, with the ladies. What does a fishman know of such matters? Nothing. Nothing at all. Did they strike a nerve there, I wonder? Oh wait, isn't that another fast travel? No. The only fast travels here are Reunion, yeah, and Dorala. Reunion, the Dawn Throne, Dorala. You. Is this Kun Kulu yours? Its vacant stare vexes me. I see. So they are the ones who claimed Dora Ilo for this festival. And they seek knowledge of our traditions for this end. Very well. They're no threat, so there's no risk. The Dothal are warriors and hunters both. Those born into this world could not survive otherwise. Thus do we use archery to demonstrate to the Dusk Mother that we are worthy of her legacy. We loose arrows at distant targets in a contest of truest aim. That is our tradition. Simple as it is. Festival like a game. How interesting. This has been most illuminating. Yes, yes. I think that's enough mortal peril for one day. We've sufficient information to get started, so let's return to Dora Isla. I'm pleased to see you whole. Yes, yes. What did you learn? Many, many things. Between horse races, Azim Bok, and archery, the Zala festivals are most competitive. Quite fierce. unsurprising given the nature of the Nardum. Without structured competitions, I dare say the Zayla would struggle to contain their base aggressive instincts. Their savagery would doubtless drive them to extinction, be it through internal or external conflicts. I should like to indulge in further anthropological research, but I suppose your findings are sufficient for us to proceed. In essence, it seems that successful festivals involve engaging activities. Will require many if we are to entertain all 777 participants. Yes, it will be quite an undertaking. A massive task requiring division of labour. But if Gyore handles horse racing, you host an Azimbok tournament, and myself and After arrange for archery, we'll have 3 whole activities for our attendees to enjoy. As you wish, though I am loath to deprive you of my insight, I must work from the pavilion with full access to my research materials if I am to learn the rules of Azimbok in their entirety. I advise you all to think twice or thrice about any ideas you may have in my absence, especially Gyoshin. Rude. Anyway, you can make varnish fit for a ceremonial bow, yes? I've stuffed all the materials in the crate in advance. Open it with care. Simply turn what you have over to me when finished, and I'll complete the project most swiftly, with promptness. Why the fuck did you store it all the way over here? Whatever. Ceremonial bow components. Bows and arrows require more pieces than I expected. Yes. I'm pleased to have such a challenge. Thank you. I can craft a suitably ceremonial bow and arrows with these. I also have something to show you. I constructed it while awaiting your return. A target. A most sturdy yet intricate target at which to aim. You love it, yes? Your craftsmanship is impressive as always, yes. But should it not stand up? Oh. I suppose I was absorbed in the design and utterly forgot to make a stand. Yes. Yoshin, has it never occurred to you that your difficulties are your own making? Honestly, it'd be more efficient to employ you to hold the target. Do not trust your motive for making that suggestion, no. I assure you, your concern is unfounded. We need but assign the infallible After the role of markswoman for you to emerge uninjured, yes. I dare say. Assume your positions. After, you may collect the ceremonial bow and arrow from Gyore behind the pavilion. Cool, I get to shoot a fish. Is he going to be in a barrel? I mean, I was joking, but it looks like he might be. This is a perfect cure for Gyoshin's carelessness. Yes. He's most full of cares now. Here are your ceremonial bow and arrows. Take aim at the target Gyoshin holds and fire away. Easy. Wow, your aim is dead on. Impeccable. Can I leave now? Being on the business end of an arrow has never been an aspiration of mine. Not one of my goals in life, no. Still, I'm quite confident we're prepared to host archery contests like the frightening Dothal lady described. Attendees will be delighted with the complete and total accuracy of our reproduction. Yes. Now let us see if the other two activities are ready. That's a lot of targets. Horse. It's a fish on a horse. Working side by side with the Namazu, you've successfully incorporated sailor traditions into the festival. The horse racing, Zimbok, and archery competitions are now open to attendees. In 7 years, the Namazu were fated to become the primary source of sustenance for starving Zayla, who had faced food shortages after a fierce cold snap. Many would have died. However, continuous practice of nomadic festival traditions over the course of 7 years will promote mutual understanding between the Namazu and Zayla, averting their slaughter. I mean, that is the most immediately deletable one, isn't it? Unbeknownst to all, the Namazu will be spared the grievous tragedy that could have consumed them, and their fate continues to change for the better. And now we're honoured. Now we have access to more stuff. Gimme shit. I think we'd unlocked all of that. Ooh, a dance. And an orchestrion role. Okay. I forget which one. This is. Oh, it's the chicken dance. Yeah. Okay. Now we can go and rank up with the Enanta. I'm also keeping an eye on the Balut Discord to see if Eorzean wants to pop. Because I've been keeping an eye on it, and I swear Eorzean just never comes up for Phantom. I've seen him come up for some other worlds, but I haven't seen him pop for Phantom, which is really annoying. Although it could have been more annoying if he'd popped whilst I was at work or something. Good to see you after. You know, I'd say our work is progressing quite nicely. There's still time left, but even if Mother were to arrive tomorrow, I think she'd be impressed. Isn't it a bit early to be saying that? The work needs to be finished before she comes back. We have a hard time convincing your mother with the place as it is now. Of course, the castle is no longer under threat of demolition, and the griffin statues are very nice, but it's still more or less the same as when we arrived. What about the old storeroom as we converted into overnight lodgings? Yeah, I was just getting to that. As you doubtlessly know from personal experience, this whole area is crawling with dangerous creatures, many of which are more active at night. Adventurers and soldiers can hold their own against them, but merchants and returning refugees are easy targets. We'll be seeing a lot more of them now that the Garleans have withdrawn. That's why I suggested that we put down some beds in the old storerooms. I haven't actually had a look yet, but I'm sure Alpa took care of it. There are probably a few things that need improving, though. If we ask someone who's actually spent the night here, we can get their opinion. That visitor from Gridania who slept here should be about. Why don't we start with him? Hello. Can I help you? Having stayed overnight in our lodgings, would you say you slept well? I wasn't expecting to find anywhere to stay, and I was full glad to be offered shelter. Otherwise, I'd have been travelling in the dark with only the beasts breathing down my neck to keep me warm. Having said that, I think it's a bit soon to be calling them lodgings. I would have appreciated something to lie on beside the floor. The floor? I heard that travellers preferred to sleep in proper beds, so I had some brought over from Viranilia. A bed? I didn't see anything like that. Alpa, you did give them something to sleep on, didn't you? Of course I did. Maybe it'd be quicker if I just showed you. Wait here. That's it. Put it down over there. Yes, Captain. You had one of these in your room, didn't you? I did. Do you mean to say I'm supposed to sleep on that? Allow me to demonstrate. See? This is how we Ananta go to sleep. We just coil up like this and we're pretty comfortable. We don't coil. You scaly pated imbecile! Do you think we can just coil up like that? Get up, would you? Fine. We'll help you, Captain Alpa. And on that note, I bid you all farewell. It's partly my fault, I suppose. Should have made sure that Alpa knew what a guest room actually is first. To be honest, it's been a while since I stayed in a decent inn myself, so I'm probably not in any position to give proper advice. Any thoughts? We should head to a village with one and ask around. Come to think of it, there are several inns for travellers in Alagiri. Good idea. We might find someone who can come here to tell us what this place is missing. Let's head to the inns in Alagiri. I mean, what am I doing? I'll just fast travel there. Advice on accommodation? Sorry, I'm needed here for the time being. Might be worth asking around, though. You want to go all the way to Castle in Veladina? I'd love to help, but I've got my hands full here as it is. Lodgings, you say? You'll try asking people who used to work in Goodblade. Of course, it's naught more than rubble now, so the old residents are looking to apply their trades elsewhere. A bloke called Gales used to run an inn there, and he took pride in his work. You should find him still moping around here. They can't all be busy, can they? Did you find anyone? A man named Gales, and he was an innkeeper. Perfect! Let's go and look for him. Hello. What brings you to Goodblade? Or rather, what's left of it. Oh, I see. You say my advice may prove beneficial. It's very kind of you to ask, but I should warn you. Failure seems to follow me wherever I go. He's a rare sunshine, ain't he? Since the fall of Goodblade, I've tried working elsewhere. It never seems to last long before everyone takes such a disliking to me. I can't say I blame them. I'm no good to anyone. We heard you were a first-rate innkeeper. You should put that experience to good use by helping us. If you say so. I'm just worried I'll go all the way to the castle only for you to change your minds and turn me away. It'd be just my luck. We wouldn't do that. We need you. Let's head for the castellum. I'll explain more on the way. And Eorzean has just popped in Louisoix. Well, I say just popped. It was 15 minutes ago. Can I go to Louisoix? Yes! I want the Eorzean mount. God damn it. Okay. LG, shout, LFG, on the way, wait. And I believe it's up here. This is the kind of lightning that you see for Eorzean, which is Quick Levin. There he is. Hello there. To be fair, if I'm gonna get synced to what level? To 80. Oh, okay, no, then I may as well go tank. I wasn't sure what it would sync to, because the special fates in Realm Reborn zones, like Odin, will sync you to 70. So I thought maybe this one would sync me to 90. Okay, we're going. Been a long time since I did Eorzean. But as you can see, he is currently invulnerable. Not anymore, bitch! Yeah, Ixions' gimmick is there's a lot of AoEs. Oh, I have aggro. Interesting. I think I have to kill Ixion and get gold twice in order to get his mount. And then a third time in order to get the barding for my little chocobo. In fact, speaking of chocobos, although I don't think... Oh no, we can have chimkin tendies, even in an 8-person. Yeah, so far this is the closest that we've gotten to doing a Dark Ale. Now we need to kill these. I forget what happens if you don't. I think it's just an enrage. Where it'll do more damage and potentially wipe us if we don't. Oh, someone aggroed the Minotaur. Okay, Chimkin Tendies is still alive. So I don't really give a shit about anyone else. I'm not a healer right now. Okay, we're nearly there. Go down, you fucking horse. Yeah! Awesome. So yeah, that's the first time that I've actually managed to catch an Ixion fate. And I might be wrong, but I think it is 12 that I need. You can see everyone else running. Yeah, so you could get the minion or the barding, but we need to do it another time in order to get them out. I also need to do the Foxy Lady one in order to get the Fox Kit, which I quite want. Alright, let's head back to Phantom. I think I've mentioned it before, but the World and DC travel ban has been lifted because congestion isn't as bad anymore. So I could potentially start my S-rank bullshit grind again, but there hasn't been much need to do that yet. Depending on how long it takes for us to get there, there might be a lot more need when we are in Shadowbringers, because the Poetics gear will actually be worth having. Okay, we need to go back to the Peering Stones. Yes. Oi, you scrawny little turd. Are these supposed to be guest rooms? It's an insult. Is something amiss, Gale? You're bloody right something's amiss. Why would anyone torture themselves by sleeping in this shithole? That bed's not fit for a chocobo. And there's another thing. Where are the chocobos meant to stay? So this is why he has trouble keeping a job. Alright, Chaos. I hear you loud and clear. I'll do whatever it takes to turn this place around. You know bugger all about how to treat guests. You got the right attitude. Let's get to work. Like I was saying, there's nothing for chocobos at all, so we'll start with that. We need a stable and troughs for food and water. Oi, you over there! Is there any wood or metal we can use? Not really, no. I know a few places we might be able to get some, though. I'll arrange to have some timber collected. After, there should be some piles of scrap metal over at Castellum Corvi. Don't worry, I'm not expecting you to lug it back here by yourself. The other gatekeepers can take care of that. I just need you to prepare it for transport. We should have a Marid crush it underfoot to break it into smaller pieces. If you speak with Dashinka, she should be able to get one ready. She's just outside the gate. I get to ride an elephant! That is one of the things I actually quite like about the Ananta, is they not only have, like, the Griffin mount, but you also have the Marid. You wish to ride a Marid? For what purpose? I see. Crushing a few steel plates should pose no difficulty for a Marid. They are even stronger than they look. Should you be separated from it, it will return to me of its own volition. Once the work's complete, you may dismount as you please. That's right. It's a flying elephant. Dumbo! Although its flying animation is... it's basically doggy paddling. What strength? Wouldn't want to get on a Marid's bad side, that's for sure. We'll carry the scrap back to Castle and Belladina. You go ahead and wait with Gales and the others. Wait, was that... I guess this wasn't... This wasn't one of the dailies in and of itself. This is just a proof of concept, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're back. Where's the scrap? It'll be here soon. I can't wait. I'll make the best chocobo stables you've ever bloody seen. But first, I'll get Alpa to make some beds. And if she buggers it up, I'll have her guts for garters. So what do you think? Not bad, eh? I made all the sheets myself too. Weaving is another specialty of the Ananta, you know. Compared to headdresses and clothing we usually make, this was simple. To be honest, there's no point having a skill if you don't know what to do with it. That's why I'm glad Gales is here. I'd be lost without his advice. But I'm equally clueless when it comes to the Ananta. I've lived in Girabania my whole life and I know next to nothing about them. We may have our differences, but we share a common tongue. We can learn a lot from each other. Yes, I think so too. You've really made a difference here. I'm sure I'll need your help when there's more people start passing through our gates. That reminds me, I should try out one of the new beds. When I first met Alpa and heard she was captain of the Veladina Gatekeepers, didn't know what to expect. It was worth the journey though. I'm glad he's calmed down a bit. Uh-oh. I guess it's not as sturdy as it looks. I just hope her mother doesn't show up now. After what happened to Goodblade, I thought I was finished. Alpa asking me to come here could be the fresh start I've been looking for. Stable! Place is looking a fair bit more lively now. Guest rooms have been added to Castellum Veladina. And now they sell more shit again. Wait, whoop. Wait, no, not that. This, yes. So now you have Charmed, I'm sure, and the Wind Up Ananta. Charmed is actually quite a good one. Because it looks like this. It's the same effect from the Lakshmi trial. If you're not careful, you end up getting charmed by Lakshmi. And it's effectively just a stun. Okay, so now, Hugane, Eureka, Pagos, and we're going to do the story in Eureka Pagos. If there's some NMs, I'm not going to not do them. But I'm not going in deliberately to try and do NMs. The weekly reset is tomorrow, and I'm going to use that to level up a bunch in Eureka. Or at least that's the plan. Which is why I want to unlock the stuff that I'm unlocking now sooner rather than later. Okay, nothing's up. Good. That works for me. Trial! There you are. 2 matters of import to discuss. First, the magicite you found in the cones. As I feared, I'm going to need more time to study it. Sorry. If I had another of these, let's call it depleted magicite for now, and I reserve the right to change the name. Anyway, if I had another, it might help speed things along. As to the second matter, we've located another confluence. The readings are nearly identical to the ones we took before, so you can expect to find another depleted magicite. You'll need to scour the Val River belly for this one. Do your best to find it, but don't take any unnecessary risks. Where is this one? So, I worked quite hard to make sure that I got up to level 25. Because that's the level that you need to be to use all of the Aethernets in this region. Especially this one. This one's the level 25 one. And without having these, it is quite awkward to navigate around. Especially at low level, because all of these things will fucking murder me like nobody's business. And because of like the cliffs and the sleeping dragons that you have to get past and everything. Like that. Shit. I am lucky. I am lucky. I thought I was dead. I think the issue is that I do need to be up there. Maybe. Is that right? Is it? Because is it? I think it might be on a drop. Because it's... Oh wait, no, it might be further along here. Oh no! I've been reading the level 25 quest. I'm on level 23. It's actually like here. Whoopsie. You know what, fuck it. That's definitely not what I meant to do. It'll be quicker to fast travel a couple of times. Yeah, so I think it's around there. Die. Just in case I need to kill one of these. I think it's just up here in this little... Yeah, there it is. Like the first match site you found in Pagos, this one also seems to be incompatible with your Magia board. In all likelihood, it too has been drained of ether. Ooh, okay. I'm gonna make my way over there. LFG, anyway. That's geothermal, because this is one of the NMs that can drop items that sell for a ridiculous amount. Not that I think I can get it at 4 levels below. I think you need to be 2 levels below. I think it's 2 levels or less. That is the mount that you get for completing Baldessian Arsenal, and that is the mount that I want. Badly. It's one of my favorite mounts in the game. Let's use that real quick. Get some extra experience. Not that I think I'll get any from the actual fate. But yeah, that's a decent chunk of experience. Awesome. Back to Ice Point. Ideally, we would have gotten... That NM would have popped after we turned in the level 25 quest. But it's fine. It's always a relief to see you make it back in one piece. You have it then. The depleted Magicite? Just as before, compared to other Magicite, it wants for Aether, and so exerted less influence on the life stream. And yet... Well, I did say another would be a boon to my research, didn't I? Thank you. I'll keep you apprised on any developments. About those developments. Don't worry, After. You needn't wait any longer for results. Now, you may recall the Magicite you've recently discovered is somewhat lacking in ether, yes? I strongly suspect that this is not the result of some natural phenomenon. The earth surrounding the stones was also likely scored when the stones were drained of their essence. Then the masked man. He's up to something. Of that I have no doubt. But unless you can tell me you saw him handling the Magicite, assuming anything beyond that would be baseless speculation at this point. Setting that mystery aside for the moment, I can tell you that we've located another confluence within Pagos. Curiously, this one appears to be more akin to those observed in Animos. It may well be a Magicite still replete with ether. Our readings place it near the eastern edge. It'll be a trek, but I hope you're ready and willing to head back out there. Oh, and before I forget, Geralt was asking after you. Apparently, he's hit upon a few interesting discoveries of his own regarding weapons or some such, and wished to share them with you. And that's why we're doing this today. We needed to unlock Geralt before I do much more leveling here. And there she is, the woman who's going to be getting me off this bleeding rock. I mean, the woman what deserves a weapon of phenomenal power as befits her martial prowess. Yeah, huh? Oi, what's with the reaction? I'm doing you a favour here. Try and look more enthused at the prospect, why don't you? That's more like it. So, I made you a bloody brilliant weapon in Animos, eh? My very best what anyone could craft in that bastard region. Couldn't do better, believe you and me. All that wind aspected ether seeping in every little thing mean you'd be foolish to even try. Now, your average smithy'd throw their hands up in defeat, but Geralt's not anything but. Aye, I found a solution to our problem, and an elegant one beside. If the elemental forces in your weapon are out of balance, all we got to do is bring them back in line. And to do that, we'll need a boatload of crystals chock full of ether of various aspects to cancel out all the wind. There you go again, making that face. Worried about where in the 7 L's you'll find that many crystals? No way, you daft sod. You'll make them. It's a kettle! Feast your eyes on this beauty. A Eureka's kettle! Take it with you when you go about your business in Parkos. Every time you kill beasties, it will suck up a portion of their ether. When the kettle's brimming with enough vitiated ether, you can convert it into a crystal form. With the aid of proper facilities, that is. Where are said facilities, you ask? It's a damn good question. Old your Chocobo's killer. Honestly don't know. Somewhere in Pargos, though. That much is certain. Kral's the one who told me her grandfather developed an apparatus for the purpose of compressing ether into crystals. Reckon it should be somewhere near our camp. More than that, she can't say. Any road, you ought to know this crystal forge when you see it. If it helps, think of it as an adventure. You're still an adventurer, aren't you? Right then, I'm counting on you to bring back those crystals so we can make you a better weapon and prove that my method isn't a load of bollocks. And then the Aradan will have to give me my due. And then it'll be one step closer to freedom. So yeah, basically this is the light grind. We kill stuff and it fills up this meter, and then we can turn those in to make crystals. The kettle can only hold a maximum of 9? Yeah, a maximum of 9 charges. And if we max it out, we then can't get anything else. It would be wasted. So yeah, I want as much light as possible, which is why we're doing this today. Because tomorrow I will probably be doing a bunch of stuff in Pargos to do my my weekly challenge log to get levels. And hopefully I'll be able to do some NMs as well then. And that'll help with a lot of stuff. Now for this, do I need to drop down in a specific location or anything? Because basically this is where Loki's access is. But I don't actually remember if this is at the top or at the bottom. So 307. Okay, it's gotta be safe to drop down. Because the coordinates didn't make sense to be a platform. Ears. So it's a bit framey today. Probably need to reboot my computer. It's been a while. Hello again. No, this will not do. No, no. Not if the righteous are to rise triumphant. Where art thou, O bearer promised? Hand worthy to wield the blade, just and true. Well, that looks like Animos. Because it is. By all means, convince me I'm wrong. Tell me there's a way. A bearer just and true, if the accounts are to be believed. How wonderfully subjective. So one with such qualities would be judged worthy and therefore be in no danger. Simple as that. As if anything about this is simple. We already know that prolonged exposure places the bearer's very soul at hazard. By the time the others even realized, the icon had already prevailed. Indeed. Then until we can conceive of a method to completely and utterly starve it of ether, we can but maintain the status quo, vexing as it is. In so doing, we merely pass our problems on to the next generation. Sever the stream, seal it away. Our every measure can be defeated, all our progress reversed. Meh, who would have thought the ether could be so damn hard to manipulate? Sever the streams. That won't do. Alter? No. Galvus got that look again. Any moment now, he'll be saying, "Got it!" My friends, victory is not beyond us. There's a simple method by which we may yet reverse our fortunes. To wit, we reverse the flow. I like his armor set. I'm not sure which armor set that is. Galvus, I mean. It kind of looks like a less gaudy version of the Even Star armor. The masked man's nowhere to be found. However, you spy a small object near where last you saw him. The object, seemingly left behind by the masked man, is yet another depleted magicite, identical to the ones you found before. Oh shit. No. Eh. Okay, now I do need to be a little bit careful on my way there, because there is a sleeping dragon here. But this one I should be able to get full rewards for. So the way to get past the Sleeping Dragons, if I've not said how before, is to walk. And you can toggle walk using the numpad backslash? No, forward slash. Is it a forward slash when it goes from the back to the front? Oh, shit. Didn't mean to aggro him. But okay, I guess that's the pull, and there's no group for me. Yay! I'm probably going to get silver for this, then. The only thing I can do to try and get a higher rank is do damage, so... Yeah, silver. Saw that coming. Oh well, it's still decent experience. Ah, fuck. That's not good. He's probably gonna kill me. That's unfortunate. By the looks of it, there is one person that can res me. Ah, shit. Unless someone changes class. It is unlikely I'm gonna get resed. Unless they have, like, a Phoenix down or something. There is a new red mage now. So maybe. Hey! That's a monk. Okay, the monk just came by to watch. Alright, now I just need to get back to Kryl. But you can see from us having killed one NM, we got probably like a third of a crystal. And you can also get light from killing just normal enemies. Although I do think that they need to be of an appropriate level to you. I don't think you can just like absolutely murder low-level stuff. There you are. For a moment there, we were all more than a little worried something might have happened. While you were away, we recorded a sharp decrease in ethereal density until the confluence was more or less identical to those we previously measured. It was almost as though the magicite was being drained of its ether in that moment. What? The masked man? And another vision of Grandfather's past? This is too much to process. Forgive me. I need a moment to gather my thoughts and try to make sense of everything you've told me. And now I can't do anything more here until level 29, which I should definitely be able to get to with the challenge log resetting tomorrow. So, for now, we are going to leave. But yeah, that just means that whilst I'm leveling up, I can get some light as well, because the crystal that you get from the kettle, I'm going to need 31 of them per relic. And the only way to get them is from that kettle. I'm going to need 465 of them for every relic. It's going to take a little minute. So I just wanted to make sure I didn't waste any light. Argos is probably going to be the region that I have to farm in off stream the longest. Whereas Pyros is probably going to be the one that I wish I was in for the longest, because Pyros, I think, has the highest chance of you getting items to be able to sell for any decent amount of money. And I am kind of poor after buying level 90 gear for my Summoner and Scholar. So, yeah. Now, speaking of Summoner, let's go and do some job quests. Where is it for the up with a bite? Oh, it's the Black Shroud. Okay. So it's still Ystola's sister. Hey Tingles, how you doing? All's good, good. How am I? I'm doing alright. Just, it's been quite warm today. Hence the no webcam, because I am just here in the dark with a fan pointed directly at me with no trousers on, to be perfectly honest. It's the only way to stay cool. But I'm doing pretty good. We're progressing. We're progressing things. I'm leveling stuff. We got our first class to level 90. And I've still got a lot of leveling to go. After, I've had the most fascinating news. 'Twould seem that the ruins of ancient Alag have yielded to us a tome containing unknown secrets of the summoner's art. The tome in question is currently being kept under Rambrose's watchful gaze at our dig site in Mordona. I'll be heading there shortly myself, but I'd not begrudge you an earlier peek. I just really want the Shadow Data Center to become available to transfer my character over onto, because as soon as that becomes a possibility with the road to 90, I'm just gonna focus on getting all of my classes up to 90. But for the time being, I kinda have to triage it and think about what classes do I need to get up. Hey Rambro, it's been a while. Thought you might be along. Here, prize such as this should be in your keeping. We uncovered it not terribly far away from where we excavated the Evoker's attire. I've judged the tome to be some manner of manual for summoning magic, but alas, I was unable to decipher the writings. 'Tis fortunate, then, that such a task falls directly within Ymitra's field of expertise. Speaking of which, would you mind taking the book to her yourself? She sent word that she'd been held up by some dreary business in Revenant's Toll. Pray, do be careful. Ooh. I do still need... So there's a few things that I still need to do. At the moment, my focus has been on Eureka. But I still need to finish farming the extreme mounts from Heavensward to get the Firebird mount, which is the equivalent of the Kirin. Then I need to start farming the Stormblood extremes for the different Kamwis, so that I can get the Ninetails mount. I also need to continue farming the Rathalos extreme. I still need 23 more clears of it in order to get the Rathalos mount, unless I get ridiculously lucky and the Rathalos just drops the mount, which is very, very rare. So yeah, lots of farming to do. I still need to unlock the Alliance raid for Stormblood and the normal raid for Stormblood. I'm not aware of there being any glam that I'm gonna give a shit about from the Alliance raids. But the normal raids... I forget what it actually gives you. I know that there's the merchant in Ralga's Reach that you can trade with, but I forget what the actual gear looks like. My apologies. A trifling but unavoidable matter prevented me from making directly for the dig site. Now, shall we take a closer look at this Allagan tome? Oh my. It's rather more shabby than what I've come to expect from the great works of Alag. But let's not be discouraged. The content is what truly matters. A fine observation. Who the fuck? Oh, it's a talking book. Principia, at your service. I am a humbly familiar with the doctrine of summoning. Have we awoken a sentient tome from some ancient library? After, we must keep it contained. Have I somehow given offense? Strange, for I'm not equipped with offensive capabilities. Imparting the art of summoning is my function. An instructional manual is my form. A manual, you say? Correct. When opened in the presence of summoners, I'm bound to awaken and share with them the secrets of summoning. The young mistress there is in possession of an active soul crystal, yes? 'Twas the soul crystal that awoke you. Correct. Only one who carries a soul crystal and is bathed in the ether of an icon may wield the powers of a summoner. I sensed one worthy of instruction, and was thus compelled to introduce myself. Icon. That's the Allegan word for primal. Excuse my need to clarify the obvious, but you are a construct created to teach summoning magics to any potential student you encounter? Why would the ancients have deemed such a thing necessary? Summoning came into being for the purpose of eliminating beings, specifically those beings known as icons. Primals. Once these entities have all been vanquished, however, no new Igai cannot be harnessed. Old summoners perish, and so too does their art. It was upon glimpsing this bleak future that a certain master summoner set about crafting yours truly. Inscribed with arts of tremendous power, I exist to teach others how to safeguard their existence. Fascinating. Your creation speaks to the heart of the discipline's rarity. Summoning harnesses the power of primals for the sole purpose of destroying them, and new summoners arise only in an age when primals are rife. With the absence of living mentors, a true succession of the art is never achieved. Principia, are you then to instruct after in the lost secrets of Alag? I'm eager to oblige, but there are certain obligations. Ere the seal upon my higher knowledges can be unlocked, the student must first overcome the 3 challenges I am ensorcelled to present. Well, considering how it refers to primals as icons, I'm inclined to believe that we have an authentic Allegan relic on our hands. What say you after? Will you undertake these challenges? The first challenge is a test of power. This trial is designed to evaluate the raw magnitude of your arcane talent by pitting you against a predetermined opponent of carefully measured fortitude, also known as I manifest a monster and you fight it. Mayhap not terribly wise to attempt that in the middle of town. Why don't we find ourselves a less populated area out near the Singing Shards? So basically, as soon as we've completed the job quests for Summoner, our summoning is going to get pretty nutty. Shall we begin the test of power, Mistress? Mistress? You treat your pupil as a superior, Principia. Such was the way in which I was written. Ah, and if my full name begins to tire your tongue, you're welcome to call me Prin or Pia. Ooh, I rather like Prin. I mean, let us proceed with the challenge. Oh, cool. And I can actually just murder you with my highest level skills. So, at level 90, we do now have Summon 2, which I kind of want to see, because I've not seen them yet. So, we full-on summon a tiny version of Ifrit. Which is kind of cool. A crushing victory after. Who could argue the potential of modern summoning after that display? You've bested the first challenge, mistress. There are few summoners in Alag's long history who boasted this degree of native might. Furthermore, that you've achieved such potency through naught but the study of ancient wisdom is simply astonishing. With a little polish to your technique, guiding you to loftier heights of power should be astonishingly simple. I thought After's technique more than sufficiently polished, but you say there's room for improvement. I see we shall have to adjust our yardstick for perfection if we are to rival the practitioners of the past. Indeed, if you'd know more of past practices, then you need only ask. Actually, I do have a question for you, if you would indulge me after. Prin, in which age were you created? You appear to lack the technological advancements that were predominant in constructs in the later days of Alag's civilization. Another excellent observation. I was penned by Master Sari, a preeminent summoner of his time. He was, in fact, likely the last Master Summoner of the Gallean Empire's reign. Were I to date myself by your culture's notion of history, my creation would have taken place at a point just before the Empire's collapse. In other words, solidly within the richest era of aetherochemical discovery. One might reasonably wonder why this wonderful science was excluded from my invention, and I assure you, there is a reason. In the beginning, the Alagans rose to superiority through their mastery of magecraft. It's told that the very first wielders of summoning magic made do with grimoires fashioned of leather and ink and parchment. There came a tipping point, however, when the mundane sciences began to progress with ever-growing rapidity. These advances were married with the arcane, and aetherochemical technology was born. Even as the harnessing of lightning energies gave rise to new recording mediums, techniques were developed that allowed complex arcane geometries to be instantly plotted. Traditional grimoires were replaced by devastatingly efficient and elegant weapons. The convenience of these tools, however, did not lend themselves well to the instruction of initiates. Beyond such considerations, the new mediums could not be perused without dedicated machinery, and their manufacture was no simple matter. And so the summoner who breathed life into you decided that tombstones and the like were not the ideal method for passing on his accumulated wisdom. Correct. He chose for me the primitive form of a book, and inscribed within my pages a bounty of potent incantations that require no machine to be cast. Thank you, Prin. I thought only to satisfy my academic curiosity, but I found myself swept up in your description of the past. You truly are a creation of an incredible age. And thank you for your patience. Shall we return to Gridania? I suppose, if we must. I'm hoping that from me doing a bunch of Eureka over the next few, well, months, but especially over the next few days, I'll get a bunch more... Oh, this is not the location I meant to go to. I'll get a bunch more Tombstones Poetics that I can use to finish, or at least progress, my remaining Anima Relics. What I might do is try and progress them... No, it wouldn't make sense to progress them at similar times. But I might not buy singing clusters for either of the relics until I've got all of the Umbrite and everything else that I need. Because if that means that I can't complete a relic until next week's weekly reset, then that's fine. But then by that point, I'd hopefully be able to fucking just buy everything. Well done, After. We're one step closer to revealing a new secret of ancient Alag. Prin will issue the next challenge after you've had the chance to review your studies and hone your abilities to a new level of perfection. I've decided to keep the familiar here at my side for the moment. Even with as many wonders as Eorzea holds, Folk tend to panic at the sight of a fanged tome that jumps around of its own accord. Oh, pay no mind to Captain Wolf. He obviously wishes to secure my services for some task or other, but we have more important matters to attend to. Greetings, After. 'Twould seem Prin would speak with us about the second challenge. Congratulations, Mistress. You are sufficiently prepared to undertake the next test. Excuse me, Prin, but how can you tell? By analysing the patterns of Mistress's ethereal emanations, I can gauge the strength and precision of her recently cast incantations. Of course, Mistress must attempt the challenge itself before I can provide an evaluation to the proper degree of accuracy. This will be a test of skill. To administer this trial under the prescribed conditions, however, I must request the assistance of several more summoners to play the role of antagonists. Several more summoners? In this day and age, that will be no easy feat to arrange. Come now, Ymitra. The solution is right under your nose. After, your deeds have caught the attention of the highest echelons of the Flames. After learning what you're capable of, we've begun an initiative to take on our very own summoners into battle against the Primals. A number of soldiers under my command have already begun intensive training. I handpicked veteran survivors of our expedition against Ifrit, and they've been issued with soul crystals we claimed from the Ascians. Aye, and Captain Wolf has been howling in my ear for days, begging to enlist your aid as some kind of drill instructor for the ethereally gifted. But now you're in need of summoners for this trial of yours, yes? I'm prepared to offer my regiment's full cooperation. All I ask in return is a few morsels of advice for the acolytes. It seems to me a fair trade, and my enchantments do not restrict me from instructing neophyte summoners in the fundamentals of the art. Very well. I suppose such an arrangement could prove convenient for us all. I knew you'd come around. Meet me at Camp Blue Fog, and I'll assemble the troops for inspection. Okay, and Blue Fog. Looks like we're all here. Let's get on with the briefing, shall we? As you command. The second challenge will evaluate the elegance of your technique as opposed to the magnitude of your miasma. First, I shall infuse the Igai of your opponents with secondary enchantments, and then you are to engage the entities in combat. Prin explained to me that the enchantments store the ether expended during the battle, and allow for an in-depth analysis of your flair for death flares, as it were. In any case, I expect you'll pass with flying colours. Right. I suppose you should know who you're up against. Designation and rank. Summoner Crispin, Private, First Class. We're grateful for aught you can teach us, miss. Summoner Denise. Denise, Sergeant. I'm new to spellcasting, but I've seen my share of combat, miss. Crispin and I are to fight you as a pair. Summoner Jaja Samu, Lieutenant. You've more than a few admirers in the barracks after, miss. That don't mean we'll go easy on you. Enough chatter. Quick march to the training grounds. Give the word to Crispin and Denise when you're ready to battle their Igai after. After that, you'll be facing off against the Lieutenant's beast. You won't be attacking my troops directly, so give it all you've got. Alright then, Crispin. Prepare yourself, miss. Denise and I will now summon our servants to battle. Aye, a pair of Ifrit Igai for you. Oh, they're wearing the... Yeah. So that is the Grand Company armor set for the Flames that quite a lot of Catgirls buy. That was difficult. You finished warming up on them embers then? Because even together, my mate's ego don't hold a candle to the inferno I can summon. Right, let's bring the flames! Flame on! How about, you want to see my Ifrit? Get fucked, little bitch boy. Okay, there we go. I had hopes for that one, but you snuffed him out right quick. Not much of a trial, eh? Well then, you're lucky I fought another primal during my time with the Company of Heroes. Aye, you're not the only summoners can command more than one ethereal beastie. Say hello to your final opponent, Titan. Alright. Say hello to my Titan. I hope my summoners put up enough of a fight for you. Anyway, shall we hear what the book has to say? I've ruminated upon the swirls and echoes of your battle, and the picture is clear. Your technique is, without a doubt, a thing of exquisite beauty. Consider the second challenge conquered. Well, that's good news, if hardly surprising. After all, you did sweep through those eagle like a storm through a field of dandelions. Me thanks. You've opened me eyes. See, I've some work to do before I've truly mastered this discipline. I'm glad to know we've been of service. Now, we really must be returning to Gridania. Thank you, miss. This was truly an enriching experience. Aye. Pray train with us again in the future? What's the level 70 skill for Scholar? How badly do I want to level my Scholar? It's Aether Pack. Oh, yeah. So that basically is another regen effect. And you, like, tether your fairy. To a party member. I kind of want that. Congratulations, After. With your impressive demonstration of power and skill, you've already conquered 2 of Prin's 3 challenges. Ere we come to the final trial, however, Prin would further our indication on Allagan summoning. First, I'd ask what you know of the rise and fall of summoning in the Allagan Empire. I was made to cover rather a lot of history, you understand. From our research, we've learned that the summoners were initially lauded as heroes for their success against the primals. When certain of these mages began to abuse the art's power for personal gain, however, the adoration of the populace shifted towards an oppressive hatred. Correct. We speak now of the latter half of the Third Astral Era. My creator, Master Sari, was one of those who expended his energies on the destruction of primals, even as he fled from relentless persecution. Alongside his disciples, he triumphed over Belias and many other lesser entities. Belias? That was the name of the elder primal from whom Tristan once drew power. Master Sari must have been mighty indeed to defeat such a foe. Yet he still knew fear. The thought that the grand discipline of summoning would fade into oblivion was more than Master Sari could bear, and so he sought to preserve its legacy and provide for his successors. My creator was well versed in aetherochemistry and held a particular interest in the technology of information. Broadly speaking, he researched methods for producing arcane geometries without grimoires, and experimented with machine-enhanced Igai. He eventually abandoned both of those technologies, deeming them unsuitable for the instruction of future generations. Hoping to provide guidance to those summoners yet unborn, he instead began writing and enchanting a work that would survive down the ages. He made me. Such an accomplished personage. Why then I have seen but scant mention of his name in Alex's histories. As you've said yourself, it was an age when the adulation of summoners experienced an extreme reversal. It's likely Master Sari's achievements were struck from the records, even as his loyal pupils were struck down in the streets. I was shut in a storeroom, abandoned to my slumber like some common treaty on trade agreements in the southern provinces. And thus I can tell you naught of what befell my creator in his latter years. I expected a dry recital on the history of summoning, but you've shared with us your personal narrative. 'Tis clear you hold a great deal of respect for Master Sari. I am a familiar. I simply relay information as I was enspelled. This lecture is now over. As you wish, Prin. Well, after, 'twould seem class is dismissed for the moment. I suggest you recuperate from this day's trial, and look toward preparing yourself for the final challenge. The time has come, After. Prin is ready to administer the final trial. Yes, your third challenge is at hand, mistress. I shall be glad to at last share the wisdom that has long lain dormant within my pages. Thus far we've had evaluations of raw power and refinement of skill. What then will this third challenge seek to test? That I cannot tell you. Cannot or will not. I do not keep this detail from you for the sake of my own amusement. It must be secret. Were you aware of the test's purpose, such knowledge would unfairly affect its outcome. What I will tell you, however, is that this trial requires conditions that are akin to an actual battlefield. As such, I must ask that you call fellow summoners to your side and arrange a location where you might join hands against a most realistic primal threat. Well, this ought to be welcome news to Captain Wolf. I'll see if his acolytes are available. Greetings, this is Ymitra. Ymitra? Of the Sons of St. Koinik. Aye. I have a favour to ask. Well, Captain Wolf was more than eager to accept our request. He even offered to arrange an exclusive use of a section of Seal Rock. It seems like there will be an airship waiting in Uldar to fly us to the island. Shall we rendezvous at the landing once you're prepared then? This will be the final and most grueling challenge. Pray, ready yourself, mistress, that you are not reduced to so much gruel. Oh, but it's in Uldar. So I need a fast travel to Uldar, then I can Ethernet travel to the airship landing. I was going to call it the airport, and I was like, no, that's definitely not the right name. Don't know about you, After, but my nerves are beginning to get the best of me. Captain Wolf and the others have already landed on Seal Rock, so let's not delay the challenge any longer. Who could that be? Oh, Summoner Judge Samu. How might I... By who? Lieutenant, can you hear me? The call was cut off. Our immortal colleagues are under attack. The situation sounds dire indeed. All the summoners are crippled by injuries, and Captain Wolf alone fights to keep the foe at bay. Our planned battle has become rather more real than we anticipated. We'd best explain matters to the pilot and arrange a rescue party. Ambush, you say? Understood. I'll put in a call for reinforcements. My ship is ready to depart now if you are. We're going ahead. We gotta rescue the summoners! Ah, let's go! I've located a survivor. Let us ensure his continued survival. I'll live, I think. The others, we became separated. His wounds are not too serious. Come, we mustn't tarry. Those are the... Yeah, the things from Sephiroth. Are these Egai? I've never seen the like. And this is going to make me wish that we could summon, like the Sephiroth stuff. Like, it does seem a bit weird that we didn't get anything from any of the other primals that we've defeated. Just the first three. Let's have a look at what Garuda looks like now. Oh, wait, no, we won't, because this is level sync. Oh, there's actually a Sephiroth Egai. Although it is just the... whatever they're called. The Bina, again. Do I not have access to this yet? The one that powers it up? Or have I somehow unassigned it? Yeah, I've somehow unassigned Outburst. Don't know how that happened. Alright, we got some big boys. Oh, I didn't realize you could see Farah Sirius in the background there. An unknown summoner. The potential has arrived. Shall we test the limits of your power? Familiar with Bahamut's power, are you? Kinda. You exceed my expectations. Okay, he summoned Mercidians. Or Merocidians. This means a lot more having done the Coils of Bahamut. consummate skill. Expansive ethereal might. Twintania? No, just an elder demi-wyvern, but I can't target it. Okay. Oh shit. Ah, there you go. So is this Sari? Anomalous potential confirmed. Commencing scan. Or is this a cyborg? Latent ethereal capacity. Immeasurable. Standard parameters exceeded. Reinitializing system. What? He wants to go another round. We know that there are Allagan clones. Master Sari, how have you come to be here? Master? Surely you cannot mean that, Sari. Principia, they have woken you. This should suffice. What did you do to Prin? The construct is unharmed. I simply added another layer of security. Do not disappoint me, Summoner. I will be waiting. So Sari can summon Sephiroth. How odd. The way he vanished was almost as if he summoned himself. Thal's teeth. What was all that about? We'll discuss this back in Uldar after we've seen the wounded. You arrived in the nick of time after. Thanks to you, my soldiers survived that ambush. And they'll be fit for duty again after a bit of rest. Aye, you have our gratitude. If you hadn't plunged into the fray like that, we almost certainly would have perished. You said that bastard was Master Sari, didn't you? A summoner of ancient Alag. Did the mages have some way of coming back to life? Alright, Lieutenant, let's not jump to conclusions. Well, he was wielding summoning magics unlike aught we've ever seen before. Maybe Prin has some idea. I'll be sure to ask. Come after. Let us return to Gridania. That guy. Well, what was meant to be Arthur's final trial was certainly testing, to say the least. Tell me, Prin, what makes you so sure that was Master Sari? Based upon the evidence at hand, there can be no doubt. The vocal and ethereal signatures were identical to those exhibited by my creator. The only aspect that gives me pause is his behaviour. Master Sari was never one to offer harm to others with such callous indifference. I'd say there is a larger inconsistency consider here, Prin. Your creator supposedly died several thousand years ago. There is one other possibility. The greatest minds of Alag unlocked a science known as cloning, by which they could artificially create a replicant of a living being. Seal Rock is, after all, a construction of Gallean Empire. Assuming the individual you battled was indeed a clone of Master Sari, then my senses would recognize no appreciable difference. An exact copy of the original person. It would explain much, but the very thought of it is horrifying. Oh, and did he not tamper with your enchantments? Are you truly unharmed? My faculties are undimmed, but the wisdom I was to impart to Mistress has been sealed behind an arcane lock. I can do nothing. Only my creator holds the key. Then your secrets are lost to us. If only Arthur had been able to attempt that third challenge. Attempt? Mistress has already passed it. Allow me to explain. The third challenge is a test of the summoner's nature. Thus does the trial require the presence of companions and a realistic threat. Master Sari's ambush did, of course, bring an unexpected dimension to proceedings. Yet Mistress leapt to the aid of her fellow summoners without hesitation, and braved considerable danger to see that they are safely rescued. Selfless acts that more than qualify Mistress as a worthy successor. I wondered why power and skill were not sufficient. Sari wished to see his teachings passed on to summoners of noble heart. Correct. He could not countenance the idea that such knowledge might be put to evil ends. Now you understand why his display of violence so confused me. Aye, and all the more reason to suspect an impostor. But whatever this man's identity may be, we'll track him down and make him remove that seal. Your purpose is too important. And I'll assist you in any way I can. The Master Sari that made me would not stand to see his memory profaned with such wickedness. Well said, Prin. For an enchanted stack of ink and parchment, you have an impressively developed moral compass. I possess neither morals nor a compass. I merely follow my enspelled directions to guide worthy summoners. If I give the impression of such characteristics, then mayhap I'm overstepping my bounds as a familiar? No, you're fine, Bryn. Forget I mentioned it. I'll see if I can unearth more detailed records of Master Sari. Mayhap the story of his later life will aid us in unraveling this present mystery. I've still got 2 quests to go. I searched through the usual histories, but found scant mention of Sari. As Prin has said, records of his existence have all but been expunged. And since my own knowledge is limited to the day I was stored away, we must rely on those lost Allegan records that escaped the Purge. My colleague, Rambros, may be able to help us there. Hardly a day goes past that his team does not lift some forgotten treasure from the ruins in Mordona. Shall we pay him a visit? Rambros, my good buddy old pal. Dimitri's informed me of your search. I shall be certain to contact you should our discoveries include any mention of this Sari. There may, however, be a swifter way to acquire the information you seek. I know of a certain merchant who collects undeciphered tomestones with even greater seal than the Sons of St. Koinuk. You speak of Rowena. Aye, we formed something of a symbiotic relationship with her consortium. In return for financing our excavations, we provide Rowena with a selection of our finds. I'm sure you'd find her amenable to a request of assistance. After all, you'd merely need to borrow her tombstones for a time, yes? Here, I've penned a letter with my personal reassurances that her stock will be returned none the worse for wear. Rambros? Okay. That was a little odd. Was that because it was showing them handing it over or something? Okay, we need to go in here. Aye, what can I do for you? So, you're back in it, old Bolt Rambros, eh? Well, I suppose it wouldn't hurt to lend you some of my tombstones. In fact, I'll do you one better and let you borrow the transcripts, courtesy of the scribes at the ironworks. As books, they're a damn sight heavier, but you don't need fancy machines when it's all penned down in ink and parchment. Give me a summary of the contents when you're finished, and I'll consider that as payment. Collectors will part with more coin if they know what they're getting. My time's too precious to waste on reading ancient history. Consider it a deal, Rowena, and thank you. Well, shall we get to work? Fancy that. I've barely begun skimming the very first volume and there are already some promising passages. Let's wake Prin and share our findings, shall we? Is that a pterodon mount, by the way? So if it is, that's an incredibly rare mount. Ah, Rambros, have you come to check on our progress? This charming tome is Principia, a sentient familiar of ancient Alag. Pleasure to meet you, Master Rambros. Pray, call me Prin if you prefer. Thank you, Prin. And might I say what a privilege it is to meet such a rare and clever construct. Clever? Well, yes, apparently Prin was written that way. In fact, we're just hoping to hear an opinion on a new snippet of information I've uncovered. It was an order listed in a record of Imperial military communications, commanding that the fruits of the Master Summoner's research be seized. It appears the army had more than a passing interest in Sari's experiments. What exactly was the purpose of this research? Master Sari toiled to wed summoning magics with aetherochemical technology. For example, he experimented with replacing grimoires with mechanical mediums, and sought to manifest Igai of greater authenticity by utilizing high-speed computations. Simply put, he turned to machines to enhance traditional summoning methods. Is that the gist of it? Correct. But Master Sari was never one to abuse the success of his experiments. No matter how they magnified his power, he'd not place his trust in machines. Their inherently complex nature was too prone to error, he said. The dates on these communications indicate a time in the latter half of Sari's life. Is it possible something could have occurred between crafting you and the execution of this order that may have greatly altered the summoner's outlook? There was, of course, the violent wave of anti-summoner sentiment that swept through Alag. It claimed the lives of many of Master Sari's disciples. following their death, he began spending much of his time cloistered within his laboratory. Such an incident can certainly be responsible for changing a man. And Principia, you were unaware of subsequent events once you fell into slumber, yes? From what we've learned so far, 'tis safe to say that the foe we encountered is related to Sari's research in some way. And there are likely more clues buried in these records. I'll speak with Captain Wolf and ask to borrow the sharp minds of his summoner squad. 'Tis a rather intimidating pile to tackle on your own. Well, seeing as you have the transcripts, there's no need to travel far. You're welcome to make use of my tent and the reference materials on Alag found therein. That would be an enormous help, thank you. Let's haul these books to the dig site, shall we? Well, if it was a pterodon, they're gone now. It could have just been a wyvern, but I don't think it was. I think it may have been a pterodon. Which is an achievement mount that you get from basically completing the Ishgardian Restoration. Which is a long fucking grind. Our summoner colleagues arrived with a swiftness after I relayed to them our request. 'Tis well to see them recovered from their injuries. With everyone pitching in, we stand a good chance of finding something useful. Ah, here's the bugger I was looking for. There's a record of when the military finally caught up with Sari. It says here the summoner was found dead. Killed by someone else, it seems. Then we have proof of the original Sari's demise in the Third Astral Era. Now there remains the question of who, or what, attacked us in this age. My coin is on one of them clone creations. Is there aught more to the story, Lieutenant? Aye. Goes on to describe how the Imperial Army took over Sari's research, lauding his experiments as exceptionally dangerous, but ripe with potential applications. They shifted operations to an artificial island soon after being practical testing. One cataclysmic accident later though, and that was the end of that. This artificial island must be a reference to Seal Rock, the very site of our encounter with the present-day Sari. During the battle, my creator's simulacrum exhibited the ability to summon multiple Egais simultaneously, as well as manifest highly authentic facsimiles of flesh and blood entities. The basis for every one of these unorthodox techniques can be traced back to Master Sari's research into machine-enhanced summoning. I'd say we have enough evidence to support a working theory then. Namely, that the Allagan military was using a clone of the deceased Sari to perform hazardous experiments, tests which explored the feasibility of aether-chemically bolstered summoning magics. And when we landed on Seal Rock, we must have somehow awakened the remnants of those experiments. Mayhap we've solved the mystery of who the attacker was, but now I'd know the place to where he fled. What refuge exists for such a being? From what I can gather, the results of Sari's work were bundled off to some secret laboratory called the Aetherochemical Research Facility. We know where that is. You know of this place, miss? Is it far? Kinda. Zisla? If that's where they're keeping Sari's research, then it's possible the clone may have headed there. Our squad will fly back to Seal Rock and make further investigations. Relics of the past may hold some hint we haven't yet considered. An excellent idea. Thank you. We'll return to Gridania for the time being. Okay. Well, once we've handed this in, it should then be the last quest for Summoner. And I might have time to do another set of job quests. Which might be Scholar. Because it just kind of makes sense to do Scholar and Summoner at the same time. To me. I've received an update from Captain Wolf regarding their investigations on Seal Rock. It would seem that certain of the Allagan relics have shown signs of recent activation. The mechanisms were too heavily damaged to offer more in the way of useful information, however. I fear we must brave this Azisla facility and search for Sari ourselves. Is that what he was hoping for when he said, "I'll be waiting"? It is possible. I do not think the detail important at the time, but the lock engaged by Master Sari's simulacrum was not of the strictest tier. Rather, the seal is one which fades upon the sealer's demise. Then he was goading us into finding and defeating him. Another challenge. Or is it simply a trap? I'm not fond of rushing into the unknown. Gird yourself for the worst after, and I'll learn the present circumstances of the research facility. I've learned all there is to be learned about the research facility. The time has come to make our move. From what my sister and her colleagues have told me, the laboratories are housed in an extremely dangerous quadrant of Azisla. We'll not want to wander around inviting trouble, but rather plot the swiftest and safest route to our destination. There should be a terminal somewhere that will allow us to pinpoint the section where Sari's research is being stored. Once we arrive on Azisla, finding such a terminal will be our highest priority. I've informed Captain Wolf of our forthcoming expedition. He insisted that he and his summoner squad provide us with support. Let us make ready and meet them at Helix. Hello! Azisla is even more fantastical than I'd imagined. But we mustn't let ourselves be distracted by the scenery. We should fan out and search for a control panel of some description. And we can use that to plan the simplest route to our objective, yes? Aye. Then we plunge ahead, swift and sure, and bring an end to this bastard clone. That is my intention. It is important to note, however, that we have yet to determine if our enemy is truly a clone or not. Even an artificial copy would appear as a living, breathing being. The man you fought on Seal Rock seemed almost otherworldly. I'm inclined to agree with you, Ymitra. No matter what he is, we need to slay him to lift Prince Seal. The job remains the same. True enough. Then we should first focus on finding that terminal. After, if you would, pray search around the base of the Warring Triad statues. Keep your guard up. If Sari knows we're coming, he may have prepared a welcome. It'd be interesting to see him summon other Egai. Like one for each of the Warring Triad. Though I don't know what he would summon for Sophia. Like Zervan, he could summon one of the lizard guys. But Sophia doesn't really... pardon me. Doesn't really have anything. Other than the demiurges, which are just people that she charmed or enthralled. And if he can summon people, that's an entirely different metaphysical question. Oh, hi guys! How's it going? I predicted you'd be the first to find me. A lesser summoner would have been slain. It kind of looks like he's got a Lassie brand. After! Sari's clone, it's here! Clone? Ah, you seek to explain my existence. An understandable theory, but I am far more than one of those clumsy creations. You'd best abandon this flawed perception, lest it lead you down the path to failure. I shall await you inside, Potential. You will pass my test, your true final challenge, or you will die, never knowing what I truly am. Thal's teeth, he's gone again! Did you see that after? The way he vanished? It is akin to the dismissal of a summoned entity. So you're saying he's some sort of ego? One what's wearing Sari's face? But how can he look so solid and, well, alive? With the aid of computational machine, it would be theoretically possible to reconstruct ether into a near-perfect replica of Sari's corporeal form. He was summoned using a machine. Correct. Master Sari's research developed mechanical substitutes for grimoires. In fact, the lieutenant is standing right in front of one. This thing, eh? Looks a bit like one of them tomoliths on Seal Rock, only they was much bigger. God, can the bugger pop up anywhere there's one of these devices? Aye. I think we can now safely assume that this Sari is a product of enhanced summoning magic. But our answer leaves us with yet another question. If Sari is the E-Guy, then who's the summoner? Even if the grimoire is replaced by a machine, there must still exist the one who commands it. We gotta find the master then. If we don't squash the summoner, the bastard will just bring the Sari-Igi back again and again and again. Whomever the bastard may be, he or she must be concealed somewhere nearby. An entity will always be summoned within a certain distance of the summoner. Even machine-enhanced techniques cannot circumvent this basic principle. That our antagonist chose not to make an appearance on Seal Rock suggests a reluctance to expose oneself to direct harm. In this location, however, with so many computational devices near to hand, I expect the foe's art will be significantly bolstered. So, the E-Guy will be even stronger than last time. All the more reason to take down this summoner quickly before we're swamped by ethereal horrors. Well, I've brought a little device that should help. An aetherometer I borrowed from my sister Stola. If I can detect the right currents, it should lead us straight to our hidden enemy. Excellent, Ymitra. That may make all the difference. Right, let's be about this then. Summon a squad. Take the van and clear the way forward. Aye, we've been waiting for the chance to prove ourselves. You just focus on finding the summoner and we'll sweep aside the dregs. Alrighty there. Ready for round 2 after. Terminus provided us with a direct route to the research storage chamber. We're gonna rip through this facility and take Sari's clone apart. It is an ethereal entity, Captain Wolf, not a clone. And I must point out that your true objective is the summoner rather than the servant. Right, I knew that. As we planned then, summon a squad front and center. Carve after a path through. Aye, Captain. Ymitra, you're in charge of finding whoever's pulling this imposter Sari strings. Let's go! Wonderful. You've done well to make it this far. Someone has to be around here somewhere, Ymitra. Use your gadget. I'll buy you some time. We came here to remove the seal you put on Principia. Do as we ask, and this can all end peacefully. I'm sorry, Captain. I'm afraid I can't do that. To do so would run contrary to the purpose for which I was created. Surely by now you've come to realize my true nature? You're an Igai in the form of my creator, an existence made possible through a fusion of summoning magic and a therochemical technology. But while Master Sari was the last of the great summoners of Alag, you are naught more than an elaborate imitation. You are no match for the summoner who now stands before you. Very good, but your conjecture has missed the mark. What I am is a defense mechanism that is capable of self-enhancement in order to combat ever greater threats. Shall I phrase this in simple terms? In the event that I encounter a presence with greater potential than Sari, I am compelled to harness that potential through main force, and compose its aether into a new guardian entity. You mean to kill after and make an Igai of the Warrior of Light? Have we reached an understanding? A peaceable conclusion to this encounter was never forthcoming. His reasoning is broken down. Your deeds have saved countless lives and will continue to do so. How can one justify killing you, Mistress, when you embody the very principles for which summoning magic was invented? Ymitra, any luck finding that summoner? I've just finished tracing the threads. The camouflage is impressive, but I'm still shocked that we missed something of that size. Our true enemy is up there! How observant of you. You've uncovered Master Summoner Sari's greatest masterpiece, an artificially sentient evocation matrix. There's two of them? The complexity of my design simply cannot be compared to the primitive principles used in Principia's construction. 3! Your defeat is inevitable. Tough talk for an aging machine whose logic channels have obviously rusted with disuse. Mistress, might you and your companions dispose of this unsightly and unseemly amalgamation of refuse? I like the music. Yeah, that's a banger. Get absolutely fucked. It kind of sounds like a riff on the Primal fight songs. Hello. The thing from the fractal continuum? I guess Sari might have designed that as well. That would kind of make sense. Okay, for a second I thought that that was a version of Bahamut, which would have been interesting. Exterminate. Oh, ignore them. Is what it's telling me to do. Sweet! That was actually decent. Now the seal should be broken, right? A stunning victory after. We've won the day, but Captain Wolf wished to stay behind and conduct a thorough search. I told him it was still too dangerous to wander around alone, but... The Captain's a stubborn man. Not to worry though. If aught should happen, we'll soon charge off to fight at his side. Captain Wolf will call if he needs us, aye. We should be celebrating here. Does this not mean Prince Seal is now broken? Mistress's success is indeed something to be celebrated. I was not crafted to experience emotion, but I do feel a certain rustle of satisfaction in my pages. Once you've mastered them iron-mighty techniques, you'll be stronger than ever. Well, I think I'd rather learn by your example anyway, instead of from musty scrolls written by some long-dead Allagan summoner. It is in the hopes of achieving just such an outcome that I awoke from my slumber. The art of summoning is for the living, as my creator was once so fond of declaring. After, Prin, let us say our farewells for the moment. Thank you for your aid, everyone. We could not have done this without you. Let me guess, back to Gridania? Yeah. I might not have time to do Gala tonight after all. Because I probably need to finish up in about the next 25 minutes or so. Welcome back, After. You're only meant to face 3 challenges, and we ended up chasing your prize into the heavens themselves. An unexpected development which you handled with exceptional grace, mistress. And now, at long last, I can finally bequeath to you the highest secrets of summoning. Pray, step forward. What a momentous occasion. The wisdom of the last of Alag's master summoners is yours. Ere you depart to explore your newfound powers, however, Captain Wolf has a report for us. It should explain much of what occurred on Azis La. Aye, well, I wanted to be sure that machine was truly undone. and after poking around inside it, I discovered a number of soul crystals. According to Principia, they belonged to Sari's disciples. The captain also unearthed a tombstone containing undoctored records of that age. It would seem that following the murder of his students, Sari became increasingly bitter. He began to doubt the future could be safely entrusted to the capricious whims of mortals. Instead, he explored other methods by which new generations might be safeguarded from the threat of the primals, and committed himself to aetherochemical research. As you may have surmised, the evocation matrix was the end result of Master Sari's toil. Drawing on its embedded soul crystals and unrivaled computational power, this terrible invention was capable of manifesting a veritable host of ethereal avatars. Once he was satisfied with his work, Sari commanded the machine to act as civilization's mightiest guardian, and then he killed himself. His ethereal essence was absorbed and a formidable e-guy was added to his invention's arsenal. So, now you know the truth of it. What a price to pay to ensure the art of summoning survived unto the morrow. After failing to protect his disciples, I wonder if he meant to preserve their soul crystals in their stead. Even if that were his intention, he chose the wrong way to achieve it. Prinir is the embodiment of the hopeful ideas of Sari's younger self. The murderous machine of his latter years is the product of frustration and anger and grief. But what shall we do with the crystals? We can't risk them falling into the hands of another villain like Tristan. If you wish, I could swallow the crystals and hold them safe until another era that has need of them. My enchantments would ensure that they pass only into the hands of the worthy. Swallow? You mean to eat them? Fear not, Captain. I have no digestive tract of which to speak, and now that I have instructed Mistress in the wisdom of Alag, this task shall be the last I perform ere I return to slumber. Wait, so this is farewell? Correct, or mayhap more appropriately, good night. As a familiar, I was not enspelled to experience loneliness. I was, however, written with the knowledge that it is best not to draw out parting of ways with needless sentimentality. No tears for you then, Prin? Summoning magic was created to combat the threat of the primals. The ideal world is one in which it need never awaken again. Wield the art well, Mistress. Off to Dreamland, just like that. Suppose Prin's purpose is served, and that's the same as happiness to a familiar. Speaking of servants one purpose, I think it's time I took my leave. Aye, the tasks of the morrow beckon to us all. Let us do what we may, so that Prin might rest peacefully for many years to come. And with that, we have new glam, potentially. I imagine it's the set Sari was wearing. But new glam, and we have the best stuff. That I can have for this. So we have Enkindle Bahamut. Orders Demi Bahamut to execute Uck Morn. Deal unaspected damage to target and all enemies nearby it with a potency of 1,300 for the first enemy and 600 less for the remaining. Cool. I find it interesting that Summoner is potentially the simplest. Wait, I can do that outside of combat? No. Okay. Let's go to the locks and fight something, so I can see what it actually looks like in battle. Yeah, you'll do. So yeah, we legitimately have Bahamut. And then the next time that we can use what would have been Summon Bahamut, we're gonna instead have Summon Phoenix. Because I'm level 90. I think Phoenix is from level 80 though. Alright, Phoenix. Which will give me restore own or target health and grants rekindle. And then do fire damage. Okay, so basically the timer on this has gone down, so I can summon a lot more frequently as well. Because it was a 2-minute timer, right? Yeah, Dreadworm. No, recast of a minute. Okay, no, so the recast is the same. Alright. And I get Enkindle Phoenix. So it does Revelation. Which is basically the same.
Pizza.
What the fuck? No. Don't call pizza Revelations. What the fuck? That threw me off a little bit. Okay, so there's, yeah. These can't... I'm confused how I can use the, like, Scarlet... Because Fountain of Flame and Brand of Purgatory... Those are the ones that are going to overwrite my Ruin and Tri Disaster, right? So how do I do Everlasting Flight and Scarlet Flame? Or do I not? And that's done... Okay, I think that's done by the bird in and of itself. Okay. Cool. That's gonna be really helpful, I think. Is basically just having an extra heal and extra attack, quite a significant attack, as part of my rotation. And it being a heal that is actually decent, because Physic sucks. Physic is useless. I have no reason to use it. But yeah, that's nice to have. The armor that it gave us. Fuck off with that. I need to not be on a mount to open it, don't I? Oh yeah, it comes with the antiquated weapon, so I could probably go... Yeah. I can probably go and get that up to potentially even the Animos stage now. Okay. It really does look similar to the Lassie mark, doesn't it? I don't hate the way that this looks. I'd be interested to see what the dyeable version of it looks like when it's dyed. Because I could replace the horn on this glam. But in order to make it dyeable, I need to get it up to Animos. Even as armor. So let's head into Eureka Animos. I should have enough crystals, I imagine. Because I've got a shit ton of Animos crystals that I can turn into Protean. So let's have a look at what the armor looks like when dyed. Because it's only once you get it up to Animos, yeah. There we go. Just going to apply what's usually my favorite dyes. Ooh. If you swap them around, maybe? Nah. Think I'm okay. Alright, now I need to exchange some of these. I have a few crystals. Oh, no. It can't find it because it's not in one stack. This is one of the annoying things about the crystals. Sweet, and then I think I have some Pazuzu feathers. Exactly. And there we go. Another Animos relic. Ooh. Ooh, hello. I potentially... will prefer this relic if they're gonna continue to have wings like that. Because my current weapon is the Animos relic, which has little wings. That is nice big wings. Okay. Yeah, I'll be interested to see what that looks like. In fact, actually, can we see what the Argos steps are going to look like? I'm not sure if we can. I don't think they handled the steps like in the merchant way that they did in Animos. Where is Carol? There he is. Anything? Ooh. Ah. Just missed it. Yeah, so they didn't handle it the same way. So I can't see what they will look like. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. Alright, well... I will say that that's a pretty good point to end things for today. So we have ranked up with the Ananta and the Namazu. I believe that the max rank is still rank 8, I think. So we're actually getting a good way through these. And by that I mean max rank before the allied questline. So for the Kojin, we've got one more rank up after the one that we're getting close to. We've still got 2 rank ups with the Namazu and 3 for the Ananta. So I don't think we're actually doing that badly on societies. So that's pretty good. Pretty good. And I haven't done any of my roulettes yet for the day, which is part of what I need to finish up and go and do. At the very least, I need to do the main scenario one. So that'll get me some more tombstones, and then I'm gonna, like I said, do the weekly challenge log for a bunch of levels in Eureka tomorrow. So we'll probably be back on Friday with more Final Fantasy, and hopefully at that point we'll be able to progress to the next, maybe to the next zone in Eureka and get to Eureka Pyros. Because once I'm in Pyros, I can try and make a lot of money. Oh, there is something that we got that I've not shown you. I got very lucky. And I got Strider Boots, which gives you 50% more dash speed. Oh, no, 50% longer sprint when you're in a city state. That's all they do. That is literally all they do. And you can't sell them. They're market prohibited, and they sell to a vendor for 1 gil. So they are useless apart from the fact that they make you run for longer in a city state. Honestly, I would much rather have the Scorpion. Ooh. I'd much rather have the Scorpion chest piece from Killing Circuit. If it's coming to Glam from Animos. If I will really be lucky if I manage to get any of the Glam pieces from Pagos, because they sell for like ridiculous amounts. So the Cassie earring sells for a minimum of 20 million gil. And then the other one is the optical hat. Oh, the optical hat isn't sellable. But you need these items in order to craft, I think, this? Yeah. So you craft this item, and then from having that item, you can get the gold, the gold reward from doing this bait. Oh, so that one doesn't sell for very much. Some of them are clearly rarer than the others. That'll get you the optical hat, which looks like shit. But it does give you haste. It is really shit. Like, it's... I suppose it's only good if you... What the fuck? If you're a melee class using the Kirin Asodes rather than the Vermilion Cloaks. Because the Vermilion Cloaks are best in slot for Eureka, but you can't wear a helmet with them. Whereas the Kirin Asodes, which are best in slot for the melee classes, you can still wear a helmet with. Okay. But yeah, we'll call it there. Hopefully, by the next stream, I'll have some fun things to show off. Wednesday, there should still be a stream, but it is likely to be some more Cyberpunk. So yeah, have a good one, and I'll catch you in the next one. Later.